Next, as we already learned, dates and nulls can be tricky to work with, and one has to be very careful when constructing expressions with either of the two. But as you may remember from Excel, dates are just numbers, albeit with a very specific purpose. Excel starts with January 1st, 1900, so about a century or so ago. MySQL with January 1st, 1000, so a millennium ago. Both go till December 31st, 9999. The first date, whether January 1st, 1900 in Excel or January 1st, 1000 in MySQL, has a serial number of 1. Second date, January 2nd of those years, has a serial day of 2, and so on. It is easy to see this in Excel. All you have to do is type those dates in and then reformat them as numbers, and you'll see the serial number attached to any of the dates you type in. This makes date calculations and comparisons relatively easy. Want to find how many days since your birth date? We just use Excel to enter your birth date and today's date and simply subtract the two. It will subtract the two serial numbers, both integers, and give you the number of days in between those two dates. Adding days works the same way, as does comparing if a particular date is before or after another date. Okay? All right, now, let's suppose we want to find all of the employees that were hired in years 2016 and 2017, top of the current slide. Okay, we need to find all those hire dates that come after January 1st, 2016 and before December 31st, 2017. The between and operator combines these two comparisons into one. Let's switch to Notepad and open, this will be the fifth of the scripts named MySQL3_05_dates_EMPL_hire. Okay, and add the where clause using the, of course, the MySQL version. So where hire date between, okay, and single quotes. Okay, I generally type 2 single quotes and then back up and then type a date. It has to be in the YYYY dash MM dash DD format, and operator and logical operator. Again, 2 double quotes, 2017-12-31. Okay, and then save those changes. Close the script, open it in Toad. That's number 5. Run it, okay, and after you run it, you should get a table with 3 columns, the first, last name, and a hire date, as was specified in the select statement, and 11 rows as a result. So there were 11 employees that were hired in 2016 and 2017 years. Okay, notice the formatting of the hire date is less than ideal, showing both the dates which we want and the midnight this time that we don't want. We've seen this before. There is a date underscore format function that could be used to show the dates only. See if you can Google it and modify the script for additional exercise. I'm going to close this and return to the lectures folder and my Access database. Reopen it if it's closed. If it's not closed, if it's still open, just switch to it. Okay, and let's see if you can recreate this fifth query on employee hire dates in Access as well. So create tab rather. Query design. We need employee table. We need to add the employee table, and then the fields that we need are, again, first name, last name, and then the hire date, which I believe is towards the bottom. Okay. In the query grid, make that hire date column, the third one, a little wider and click in the criteria row so you can type the whole thing. Now in Access, as you can tell by looking at the slide, okay, the dates after the between operator are typed in between the hash symbols or pound sign. So 1/1/2016, and any legit date format will do in Access, as you might remember from all the imports that we've had before. And what was it? It was December 31st, 2017. Okay, so between January 1st, 16 and December 31st, 2017, we want to save the query. This is number 5, so it's going to be a ccdb3 underscore 05 underscore dates underscore empl underscore hire. Okay, so run it. You'll see the same 11 rows, right? The same 11 records, 3 columns, and clearly all the employees hired, mostly in 2016, with few of these guys hired in 2017. Switch to the SQL view, and you'll notice very similar code with these extra table names and parentheses as usual. Okay, let's switch back to the presentation. Okay, next. The next script attempts to find all the products where either the group classification or the wholesale price do not exist, using a combination of is null, right here, comparison operator with, or logical operator. Okay, open using Notepad. Again, switch to Notepad, open. Where are we? Number 6, right? MySQL 3 underscore 06 underscore null underscore products, and click into the 4th line for the where clause and specify it as just discussed, where prod group, okay, is null. In other words, is blank, really, or wholesale price is null, right? So one or the other. Okay, so one or the other. Save the changes, review, make sure it's right, close the file in Notepad, switch to Toad, open number 6 there, make sure there's no errors, and run it. As a result, you will have the 4 columns, product name, group, type, and wholesale price, and then there will be 15 rows. As you can see here, there will be 15 rows. Now scroll down slowly and notice that at least 1 and sometimes 2 of the columns per row have a null character, null value in them. Product group sometimes 2, right? Assembly charge is not within a product group, and it does not have a wholesale price. So both conditions are true. Okay, the baseball labels and names do have a product group, baseball gear, but do not have a wholesale price. And then the next 2 items, the bike packages for adults and kids, do not have a product group, but they do have wholesale price. Okay, now experiment with this query by changing or to and. I'm not going to do it, I'll leave it up to you, to learn about the difference between and or logical operators, both of which are used in the next query to form a relatively complex expression discussed in the 3rd and last bullet of the current slide, called complex logical expression. Okay, so there we want to find either the wholesale customers using Amex or all the retail customers that are not using Visa. This sentence logically breaks down in 2 parts shown at the very bottom of the slide. Okay, there is shown in parentheses connected with the or logical operators. The to and logical operators are used in each of the 2 parts to find customers that are both wholesale account customers and use Amex, okay, or those that are retail type customers and do not use the Visa credit card. Notice the use of the equal comparison operator here, here, and here, and the not equal here when comparing text rather than numbers. Okay, now let's switch to Toad and open, to Notepad and open, what's this, number 7, which is MySQL 3 underscore 07 underscore complex underscore logical underscore tests. Okay, and then we're going to add this where clause slowly. I tend to open parentheses, or Notepad will do it for you, open and close it at the same time. Type equal, then two single quotes, the account customer, and credit card is equal to, make sure you spell this right, American Express, or type equals R for retail, and credit card is not equal to, in single quotes, Visa. Okay? Scroll left and right, make sure it's correct. Save it, close it, open it in Toad. Okay, number 7. Make sure it's okay, run it, and you should get what? What should we get? We should get 4 columns, first, last name, account type. Right? Notice all the account customers, wholesale customers with Amex, and then look at all the retail customers. None of them have Visa next to them, right? None of them have Visa, but there's a lot of retail customers, so the total number of rows is 224. Okay, now let's quickly close this. Now let's quickly switch to Access and recreate this query, the 7th query in a complex logical test in Access. Let's create query design, add the customer table, and then move the grid up, and then add all the columns that we need, which were the first name, I believe, last name, it might have been the other way around, and then we have the customer type, wholesale or retail, or account or retail, as well as the credit card. Okay, and then let's type in the criteria row. Okay, under criteria row, first type A in double quotes for account customer, and then credit card in double quotes, again, American Express. Make sure to spell it right. Then under or line right below, type in double quotes R for retail. It actually will insert double quotes automatically, and then not equal to Visa in double quotes as well. Let's save this quickly as ACCDB3 underscore 07 underscore complex logical test, and then to run it, all right, we should get the same 224 customers showing their first, last name, type. We got 1, 2, 3, 4 account customer using Amex, and then the remaining 220 customers shown here. They're not using Visa, using Amex, MasterCard, Discover, or whatever else. We'll close this and we'll switch to the presentation